Welcome to the show. We got some exciting news for you. We'll get to that in just a sec. But first, the latest cases in COVID-19. We have 15 new cases, state cases, 2 weeks or older. Health District report daily cases is 61. That brings the total to 76. And average now brings up to 5,363, 32,969, and brings the total number up to 37,932. Which means we are a lot closer to 38,000. Confirmed positive, 15 new cases. Probable positive, 23. Suspect positive, 38. 25,079. 799. 10,152. 1981. And there's no new deaths, which stays a number of 718. Hospitalized, 6437. Currently in hospital, 68. ICU those in hospital, 29. And they're recovered is basically 36,121. They were positive, the criteria, and not been a criteria for quarantine. So, that's basically the numbers. But this focus here is going to be on the health screening. What does that mean? Health screening just basically means it's a medical test. Screenings are a medical test that doctors use to check for diseases and health conditions. That's what they do for COVID. But do other places do that? Well, a few hours ago, you may remember, weeks ago, I went undercover to look at Rock City Church down on Waldron, down on SPID. Great church. The pastor's great. The drummer was in his plastic thing. But what I saw, there was no social distancing markers. There was no boundaries. No strict COVID rules. And most importantly, no chairs were separated by 6 feet. So, just today, I asked one of the people if they do COVID screening. And one of the people said they don't. I didn't want to ask why, so I was like, goodbye. And I was like, thank you, goodbye. Yeah, I'm not exposing Rock City Church for what they're doing. I'm just saying what the facts are. Thing is, if you are going to reopen business, you need to have a safety plan. Where I work, we have a safety plan. We don't allow people to sit down and eat. We don't allow people to sit down and eat. We mandate masks for everyone. We mandate masks. And we limit social distancing. And I'm going to keep spraying by the sips until next week. Which brings me to this point. Next week, Governor Greg Abbott is going to lift the mandated mask order. And Judge Barbara Canales had a very reasonable reaction. So let's go. So So I'm trying to find where Governor Greg Abbott is lifted the mask. So here is what Barbara Canales, the Nueces County judge, says. So, Governor Greg Abbott's plan is to reopen Texas 100% for all businesses, and Barbara Canales specifically said. So that is next week, and she also says that her capacity as county judge, she will be issuing orders to implement the governor's executive order. But some people are not happy with it, like the American Federation of Teachers. Dr. Nancy Vetta said, "This Dr. Death governor is putting our children's lives and our teachers." Well, all schools are still doing their COVID restrictions. Masks, and all that stuff. And the list just goes on. And CCISD just said in a statement, this time there's no changes to COVID-19 protocol. Texas school districts implement revolving guidance on local health authorities and the Texas Education Agency. But in San Patricio County, there's still no changes to courtrooms. That is basically what is going to happen next week. All the mask rule will be lifted, but there are some places that are still going to be required. When we come back, we're going to take a close look at where masks will still be after the order is lifted. After this. So, we've been talking about Governor Greg Abbott lifting the order, the mask order, and Gomez is at all 100%. But that doesn't mean that all businesses will be required to not mandate masks. No. We're going to take a close look at where masks will still be required after the statewide mandate is lifted. Accordingly, to protect the federal workplace and individuals interacting with will not going to be in effect starting Wednesday, March 10th, but there are places where it's still to wear a mask. Property. Transportation. And the CCRAT issued a statement saying that all of the riders will now be required to wear a mask. All riders. And if you're planning on flying, you still have to wear a mask. And all businesses can choose to still limit. That's their choice. Yes. And also, school boards can vote for people not wearing masks. And it's still in place. And like I said, they don't do health screening, and there was no social distancing. That's like what I said before. If you're going to open up, you need to have a safety plan. There's no excuse. There's like really no excuse. And the business owners react to the very latest on the reopening. But it could happen, but we don't know. It's up to the governor. The governor says we're gonna. If the governor says we're gonna open up 100, we're gonna go to 100%, then we're going 100%. If we have to drop down, then it's up to the governor. If you're not with us, it's like the old saying: if you're not with us, you're against us. And like Nancy Vera, if she's not with us, then she's against us. Alright, there's more Give Me Break when we come back, including... There's more Give Me Break when we come back, including an Alice man who died of hypothermia, including a lawsuit of an Alice man who died of hypothermia due to gross negligence on behalf of ERCOT and AP during the winter storm. Stay with us. Welcome back. As you know, weeks ago, there was a big freeze, and still are plenty of recovery, but a family of an Alice man is suing the Electric Reliability Council in Texas and American Electric Power after their family member died during the freezing temperatures during the winter of Winter Storm Blackout. Lawsuit obtained by 3 News. The lawsuit claims that Abilio Guzman of Alice was left without power for several days and died of hypothermia. On February 14th, the lawsuit states that 4 million Texans, including Guzman, lost power during a winter storm. The lawsuit also states that leading up to the storm, ERCOT, AEP, and AEP Texas could have increased electric production capacity, but chose not to do so, leading massive blackouts. His house remained without power for several days, when Alice temperatures plummeted to 17 degrees, the lawsuit said. Also on February 16th, Guzman's girlfriend, is also a certified nurse assistant, noted Guzman's skin turned blue and said he was having some trouble breathing. She began performing CPR while calling for an ambulance, which delayed the road conditions, the lawsuit stated. And Guzman died shortly after arriving at the hospital. And the plaintiffs are also suing the comprehension for emotional pain, torment, and anguish on behalf of Guzman's children. Their attorney said Mr. Guzman really froze to death in his home, which is something that should never happen to anyone. The attorney is part of the legal team representing Guzman's family. Other law firms in the case include San Antonio-based Watts Guerrera LLP, as well as Corpus Christi law firm Gowan is London LLP. And ERCOT responded to the email saying, "We continue to review all lawsuits and have no comment at this time." As well as AEP. "We understand the frustration and hardships faced by many customers who were affected by the outages and unprecedented winter weather and the resulting load of interruptions required by AEP Texas and the ERCOT. Unfortunately, we're unable to comment on any ongoing litigation. So, and there's also a website dedicated to this, the GazaFuneralHome.com. There's no services that'll be held at this time. If you want to leave condolences for the family, you can do so. The arrangements will be entrusted to the Garza family home. So I hope that they get what they deserve. So I hope that they get what they deserve in court. And I hope, and I send all my condolences out to that man who died, and to all the others who suffered with that power loss, like myself, during this big freeze. So yeah, we don't know when this is going to happen, and the lawsuit is still at hand. So again, this is not the only lawsuit. There is another case in this. There's another person here in Texas who died of hypothermia during the freezer weather. But this year, there's going to be a Supreme Court ruling about ERCOT is entitled to lawsuits, but we don't know that. So again, ERCOT has no comment, nor does AEP. So, I hope that they get their day in court, and I hope they win this trial. Because I am praying, I am praying, I will pray come hell or high water, or when I go to Taco Bell again, eat some quesadillas, that this family can get what's coming to them. Meaning, I hope they win this case. I really hope. And this year, it could happen. We don't know yet, but we will have an update soon on this broadcast, and I will tell you what's going to happen next. And speaking of what's going to happen next, coming up, there's a change. Speaking about what's coming up next, sorry if I'm stuttering. Coming up, there's changes happening to the U.S. immigration policy. What kind of changes are they going to make? When we come back, we'll let you know. Finally this evening, there is changes to the immigration policy, and reports that people are seeking asylum are being there are new reports that people who are seeking asylum are being dropped off at bus stations across the South Texas area, and it's become a big problem since before Joe Biden became president. But under the Biden administration, asylum seekers aren't sent back to their country to await their hearing. Instead, they are allowed to cross the border as long as they go to their trial. And the police chief of Kingsville is one of the number of local law enforcement who said they have been contacted by the Border Patrol. And State Senator Chuy Hinojosa said he's heard about immigrants being dropped off at the bus stations in Corpus Christi. He also questions the plan of action to handle the influx of thousands of people. And the part of the state and the Border Patrol sent in a statement, it is, as it always has, the number of individuals crossing the border continues to fluctuate, and we continue to adapt accordingly. For those migrants who are released, CBP may work with non-government organizations who will assist them through out-of-custody process. I don't know what that means. So basically, they're going to be allowed to, basically what they're going to be allowed to do is continue crossing that border and going to our bus stations. Unacceptable. What happened to that wall? Something needs to change. That's all for this edition of Give Me a Break Wednesday. Coming up on Give Me a Break Friday, reactions from everyone here in the Bluff about everyone's reactions about Governor Greg Abbott's 100% lift and mask mandate order lifted. That's on Friday, and I'll see you then. Good night.